This year, the number of suspected overdose cases in Knox County is inching closer to last year's grim record number. This year, suspected overdose deaths look like this: 22 in the month of December in Knox County. The District Attorney General's office is keeping track and says the total number of suspected deaths sits at 286 compared to 293 in all of 2017. Tonight, WBIR 10 News reporter Marc Sallinger has a look back on this year's challenges and breakthroughs in fighting the overdose epidemic.
It's a pain that I will never get over.
If there will ever be a year when people stop dying at the hands of opioids, unfortunately, 2018 was not that year.
I believe that the opioid and drug issue is the most important issue that we face.
In the past 12 months, the overdose epidemic brought us stories of pain, grief, and a steadfast determination to do anything to stop people from dying.
There's not a station in the city that doesn't run overdoses every day.
First responders revive people with the overdose reversing drug naloxone. The Knoxville Fire Department administered it more than 400 times in 2018.
If we didn't do it and no one responded, then they would die.
This is actually the second time I've had to call to get her help in a crisis, and I'm lost. I just want to save her life.
The drugs tear families apart and leave holes in the fabric of our community. Crystal Tippins watched as her sister was carried away in an ambulance. She was prepared to die, writing notes to her family to open once she had overdosed.
This is goodbye. My chances are broken, so I'm okay with my death.
Investigators on the front lines of the opioid epidemic use every tool they can to catch the dealers who supply the deadly drugs.
When someone overdoses and dies in our community, we want to know where they got those drugs. And the way that people communicate in this day and age is with their cell phone.
Cell phones often hold the clues to the last person someone spoke to before they overdosed. In some cases, phones can lead to murder charges.
The one person that has lost their life here obtained those drugs from somewhere. If you follow those up the chain, you get into people that are making a living by distributing drugs in our community and preying upon those who are the users.
Knox County opened the Behavioral Health Urgent Care Center in March as an alternative to jail, giving people with mental health problems a chance to get treatment instead of sitting behind bars.
They would begin treatment and they begin the opportunity to start thinking differently about their life.
East Tennessee is also at the forefront of research for neonatal abstinence syndrome.
While I was pregnant with her, I had used drugs up until I was about 6 months pregnant.
Around 1,000 babies were born drug dependent in Tennessee this year. Dr. Cred Towers at the University of Tennessee Medical Center first discovered that pregnant women can go through detoxification as an alternative to having their babies born drug dependent.
Research shows that it's not harmful to the fetus while the mom's going through detoxification. This
year also saw a controversial new program hit the streets of Knoxville.
What we're trying to do is just reduce the risk of HIV and hepatitis C.
The syringe service program allows drug users to exchange the syringes they use to get high for new, clean ones, all anonymously and for free. In the first 6 months of operation, they saw more than 600 clients.
This is a piece to the puzzle. It's not solving everything, but it is a piece to the puzzle.
The struggle to overcome addiction takes determination and perseverance.
It's a miracle that I'm alive today.
But this year, more than ever, the success stories inspire us.
When I look at my own life, when I look at where I came from to where I am today, where I came from yesterday to today, of course I'm optimistic.
And leave us with hope that next year, less people will die. Marc Sallinger, WBIR 10 News.
If you or someone that you know is struggling with addiction, we do have some ways to get help at WBIR.com. There are resources like recovery options and helplines. You can just go to the top of the screen at our homepage, click on the Features tab, and then scroll down to od-epidemic, and those are just some of the resources on your screen. We move to the forecast.